The first thing we're going to talk about in organization of matter is an atom. What is an atom? It's the smallest particle of an element that retains those properties of the element. So I want you to think a little bit here about oxygen. The chemical symbol for oxygen is O. Now, if you have an oxygen atom or multiple oxygen atoms anywhere on Earth, in the universe, anywhere, they are going to have the same properties. Okay, oxygen is oxygen no matter where it is on the planet or elsewhere. Now, if you were to take an oxygen atom, however, and try to break it down further than that, try to split it in half, try to break it down further, it's no longer going to have those same properties. So that's how we define an atom. It's the smallest particle of the element that retains those same properties. A molecule is a group of atoms. It could be a relatively simple molecule having only 2 atoms. I want you to think about oxygen gas has 2 oxygen atoms bonded together. Or it could be a very complex molecule that has thousands of atoms. Now, those atoms within the molecule are chemically bonded. And that means that there is a bond that is holding them together. And we're going to talk more about what the different kinds of bonds are in a future lesson, but I just wanted to remind you the names of those bonds. We can have an ionic bond or a covalent bond. Okay, and we'll talk about what those means, refresh your memory on what those means in an upcoming lesson. There are many different ways of representing molecules. We can represent them basically in 2 different ways. We can represent them where we are showing the bonds between the atoms, and an example of that is the ball and stick model. Now, if you were to use water as an example, we've got an oxygen atom, and we've got 2 hydrogen atoms. Okay, and those 3 atoms are bonded together to make a water molecule. Now, these sticks here that go between those balls, those represent the bonds. So this is one way of representing molecules, by showing the bonds that exist between them. We can also represent molecules without showing the bonds. An example of that is using the chemical formula. Now, if we were to use the chemical formula for water, it would show us that we have 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen that are bonded together. It doesn't tell us where the bonds are. It doesn't tell us even what kind of bond there is between those atoms, but it does tell us how many and what kind of atom make up that molecule. An ion is a charged particle. It can have a positive charge or a negative charge. The name of a positive ion is a cation. A negative ion is called an anion. And an ion is formed by gaining or losing 1 or more electrons. So we have an atom. If we want to use oxygen again as our example, if oxygen can form an oxide ion, we call it, by gaining or losing 1 or more electrons. And we're not going to talk too much about how you determine whether it's a positive or a negative ion for oxygen today, but we will look at that in a future lesson as well. Some of the trends, I want you to start thinking a little bit about this again. Metals, those are those elements on the left side of the periodic table. They tend to form positive ions. And non-metals are the elements on the right side of the periodic table. They tend to form negative ions. So again, we'll look a little bit more at how those work in an upcoming lesson, how those ions are created. Polyatomic ions are groups of atoms that have strong bonds. So we've got a number of atoms that are bonded together, but they carry an electric charge, just like a regular ion does. It can be a positive charge or a negative charge. They behave just like ions do in a single atom. So just like that oxide ion I was talking about, we have other ones that are bonded together, and they behave similarly. Now there is a chart on page 4 of the textbook. It's table 1, common polyatomic ions. This type of table would be given to you on an exam or on a test. You don't need to memorize this information, but I do expect that you know it well enough that if someone were to give you, where's my cursor here? Someone were to give you this OH minus polyatom, that you would look at that, if that was in a chemical formula or in a chemical equation, and you would say, oh, I don't know what that's called, but I do know it's a polyatomic ion. I'll take a look at the chart on page 4, and that will tell me that this thing is called hydroxide. Okay, so I don't expect that you have it memorized, but I do expect that you know it well enough that you can acknowledge this is a polyatomic ion. I need to use my chart to find out what the name is. Okay, this is the end of our first lesson. Congratulations, you made it through the first one. Many more to come.